Hello, everyone, and welcome to Power Hour. Today's topic is pre-filled Microsoft Forms and what you can do with them and different ideas for implementing them. So let's get started. Okay, so you all voted for Microsoft Forms. Pre-filled forms. This is a new feature that just came out a couple of weeks ago. So it is pretty easy. So what I want you to do is kind of, since this is collaborative and, be thinking about ideas of kind of when you have needed the setting in the past, because it's something that people have been asking for years. We have a chat going on. So that's the fun part of this being live, is that you can join the chat in Teams, ask questions, chat with us, just have discussions about things. It's really fun. This, again, Power Hour is a show we do Wednesdays at 11 Central. We've been doing this, 11 years now, Joelle? A lot of years. So this is geared towards business users and power users, not really anything super technical. So let me go ahead and share my screen and get started. And we also have a tenant the tenant that you all are in actually has where I'm doing the demo. So sometimes these can be participative. So this is probably one that you'll be able to kind of try out and work with us and help us out with and fill out the forms that we create. So when you get invited to Teams, here's where you'll be. You'll be in a Power Hour team in the general channel, and I put tabs up here for each of the last few Power Hours. So here's 6.5. And then when you click the little chat bubble, that's where you can watch the video and chat at the same time. Hey, Annette. Hey, Catherine. And then I also have some notes here. So each week I add the notes. And so there's really just one link. This is a brand new feature. This is really the only Microsoft link I could find about this new feature. But you can see all the past ones are in here too with resource links there. So let's get started. All right, I have Microsoft Forms. And what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and create I think the example I'm going to do is going to be just to start off with, for having new customers. So it's going to be a form that you want your new customers to fill out. So and I'm going to make it pretty simple. I don't want to spend too much time typing and creating fields. So I'll just call it the new customer form. And then I'm going to have a few simple things like your email address and company name and let's see, preferred method of communication. Let's see if it presents me any dynamic options. No, I guess not. Let's see. Phone, email. Oh, yeah, there we go. Email. What else? Teams. I don't know. All right. And then you can ask other things like, how did you hear about us? Internet. Word of mouth, whatever. All right, so the idea is that I just want to make this super simple so that I can show you how this new pre-filled concept works. So you've got a form, and what you do is you just go to the little ellipsis at the top right, and you choose Get Pre-filled URL. And then, so here's what you do. You just toggle this Enable Pre-filled Answers, and then you fill in what you want it to have in it. So I'm just going to hard code something. And then I'll show you how you can do this dynamically too. Company name, XYZ company, XYZ blah. And then you can even pre-fill in multiple choice. So I'll just fill in like this internet one just to show you kind of what it would look like. And then once you fill in all the things that you want to be filled in, you click Get Pre-filled Link. And then there's your link, and you copy the URL. So let's go look at what that link is going to look like. Let me zoom that in. Okay, so you can see that the link itself has, you can kind of see the data that you filled in. So I've got me@here.com is where I type my email address. You can see it's got XYZ blah, that's the company, and then internet. Now you can't see the questions because in forms, the questions are all this big, long, ugly GUIDs. So these big, ugly things right here. And you probably notice that anytime you have to do anything with forms responses in a flow, they kind of have those weird names. But here's what happens is you send someone this link. So I've got this link copied to my clipboard. I'll just go to Edge. So I'm in a completely different browser. And I don't know if I made this form. Hold on, let me get out of here. I want to make sure that I am allowing it to be, I'm allowing it to be, anyone can respond. So I'm going to be opening this in a browser as if it doesn't know me. So anyone can respond. And then I'll go to another browser and just paste it. And look at that. So this is what the person would get. If you send someone a link, or if you put the link on a web page, or if you put it in an email and they click on the link, parts of that form are already going to be filled in. Cool, right? So that's it. So, and then they could finish filling out the form, and they can change, unfortunately, they can change what you had in there. So I'll go ahead and submit that. So there is not a way to pre-fill things and hide them, because I feel like that's one of the first questions people are going to ask, but there is not a way to do that. They do allow people to edit their response. That's kind of a fairly new setting too, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So yeah, does anybody have any questions? We're going to expound upon it a little, but that's the gist of it, really. Are you all getting ideas? It's pretty cool. Pre-filled forms, yeah. Oh, thank you for the Joelle, did you create that little survey?
Yeah, I was just playing with Loop.
Oh, cool, Loop, yeah. So I'll just let me know, I guess, Joelle, let me know if there are any questions. Yeah, they can change it. Okay, so the example that we're going to give is going to be a the first thing I think about is customers, because your customers are not in your tenant necessarily. They're external people, and you want, if you already know a couple of things about them and you want them to fill out a form, but you still want that form to know that it's associated with them. So you still need the form to have their email address in it, even though you already know their email address. So what you can do is create one of these and have a flow pre-fill some of the information in the hyperlink. And then so that way, when they receive the hyperlink in an email, it will dynamically have their information in it. So you don't have to just hard code the exact, type an exact email address in here. You can make it dynamic. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say, I want the email address and company name to be pre-filled, but I'm going to make them dynamic. So I'm going to say, get pre-filled URL. And then here's what I'm going to do. It's kind of like a placeholder. I'm just going to say, just kind of put some little X's around it just so it's easy to find in that big ugly URL. And then I'm going to say like XXX company, because you're not going to see the names of the fields in the URL. So this is just going to be how you're going to find where you want to put the dynamic information. So I'll say get prefilled link, copy link, and then we can go look at this one. Let's see. I'm going to put OneNote. I'll paste the new one. So this is my new prefilled link, and you can see that it's got, here's where their email address would go, and here's where their company name would go. So then I'm going to use that in a flow. So let's go over to flow, make.powerautomate. Let me get out of this prefill screen. So here's what we have. We have a list called customer contacts, a list called customers, and we have projects. So at least the way we do it is when we start off with a new customer, we have the customer contact information. So it's just going to be like their name, email address, phone number, stuff like that. And then from there, we have a customer list, which really just has the name of the customer in it. And then once you start having projects, your projects can have like all the information about your project. It can also have a lookup to the customer. So those are kind of like 3 common relational lists that we have around managing customers and projects. So what we're going to do is create a flow so that when I create a new customer contact, it's going to automatically send them that link, send them that form with their information pre-filled. So here we go. I'll go ahead and create a new flow. Oh, I've got to re-authenticate something. Oh, by the way, this Power Platform conference that you see popping up every time you go into the Power Platform, I will be there. I'll be speaking at that. So that's in September. I have to fix all these connections. Well, I'm just going to fix the ones that I need today. I don't know why it's doing that all of a sudden. I just need SharePoint and email. It does that when you change your password and stuff like that. It just makes you redo all your connections. It's kind of annoying. All right, new flow. I always just click skip on the wizard. And then my trigger is going to be SharePoint item created when an item is created. And that is going to be my customer contact list. So that's my Power Hour site. And you all have access to that site. So you all be able to create these too as we go. It'll be fun. And then I have my customer contacts list right here. And so just as soon as a new item gets created, this gets triggered. So then I want it to send an email to the customer, letting them have a link to the form. So I'll just say email and send an email. And so here for my 2, I can use the dynamic data of that person's email address. And then the subject is welcome to IW Mentor. And then please fill out a customer form. And then I'll put click here, just a nice little hyperlink. And then I'm going to make this a hyperlink, put that URL in there, and then go into code view. So I could have put the URL in code view also. So the key is that in code view, that's where we'll be able to put dynamic information in the URL. So I'm going to find my XXX email right here and replace that with the person's email. And then I'll find my XXX company and replace that. And my first thought was that, oh, I didn't put company name in the list. Let me go add that. My first thought was that it would, if it had spaces in it, it wouldn't work, but it does work. So let me just save this real quick. New customer. Oh, Joelle, can you do that? Can you just create a company name in the customer contacts list? New. Save that. And I'll probably just have to like go back out and go back into it so that it'll recognize that new field. I just whipped, this is a list that I just whipped up like right before we got started, of course, so. Did you do it? Did you hear me? I wasn't sure. Yeah?
Yeah, you said that customer contacts one?
Yeah.
Or the customer one?
In the customer contacts, create a company name. It didn't seem like there was one.
Oh, okay. So that would be in the customer.
I'll just do it real quick. I'm here. It's okay.
Sorry.
All right. Okay, so there's customer contacts, there's company. So I'll just like go out of here and go back in. So it'll recognize that I just created a new column. And then go back into, we're like practicing going in and out of here. Oh, look, it wiped it all out. This did this to me the first time I did it too. So I'm going to go replace this with my URL again. And sometimes, so it randomly wiped it out. And then I did get it to work by just re-adding it in there. So it was a little weird. So if that happens to you, don't be too discouraged. Oh, I have to do see more. There it is, company. Okay. So there is my URL, and then I'm just going to save this. And then I'll go ahead and just double check and look at the URL again before I give it a try. Yeah, okay, it stayed there this time. All right, so now what I need to do though is I need to actually use an email address that when I'm filling out to create a new customer contact, I need to like use my own email address, so I'll be able to try that out. So what is I've got this little Power Hour tenant that I never use, and I don't even know what my email address is in it. Laura Rogers at iDementorPowerHour.onmicrosoft.com. Oh, good Lord. Okay. All right, have never looked at this, I don't think. Okay, so I'll go and create a new customer contact. So I will be the new customer, and you all can try this out too.
What site are you on?
Power Hour.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just not seeing stuff.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, ignore me.
So I just filled out a few fields, and there is no customer yet in the customer list. I'm just literally creating this brand new customer for the first time. So I need to have a company that's going to be like Contoso Test Company. I'm putting spaces in it just to kind of prove that can have spaces, even though it's putting it in a string of a URL. All right, so that is going to take a minute. Flow has been really slow for the last couple of days. I'm not sure why. So that's going to take a minute to get that, for that to create, for it to trigger the flow. So you all can create them too if you want to go to the customer contacts list here. I'll just put a link to it in the chat. And be sure and put your, if you want to try it out, remember that everyone on here will be able to see your email address. If you don't want people to see it, don't put it in there. But when you put your own email address in there, then you'll get a hyperlink with your email address filled in. So, oh, okay, great. You've got, Annette has got an example while we're waiting for this flow to trigger. HR team completes a new employee form, write the data to a SharePoint list, send an email with a link to a different form to the new employee's designated manager to complete. This includes computer and phone setup details. It would be nice to pre-fill the unique ID of the SharePoint list item from that original list to the manager's form, so the manager submits it. They can use a flow to link back to the employee it relates to. Yeah, that is a perfect example. And so, yeah, you can put some sort of ID. Like in this case, I could put like a customer ID, which could just be the item ID. It sounds like I just got an email. In this case, what I'm doing is I'm just assuming that the person's email address is unique. So what I can do in my case is I can just look up that person by their email address when I create another flow that kicks off when the form gets filled in, and then to be able to do things with that data. But yeah, having an ID in there, we can add that too. We've got plenty of time. So there's my email address pre-filled. There's the company name pre-filled. And then so then the person would just only have a couple of other things to fill in, and then they're done. So now let's go add that ID concept too. So we'll do, I'll just do a customer IDs and use your example that you're talking about, Annette. So I'll add that here. What I tried to do that did not work when I was testing this was I tried to see if I could use branching logic to hide a field, like with a customer ID in it, and then have it pre-filled. But then unfortunately, when I set it to pre-filled and then it wasn't showing on the form and they submitted it, that customer ID didn't go in. So that was like the first thing I tried. So I'll just put customer ID. And then I can just add like, do not change this. Please do not edit. That way, maybe the person will follow the instruction, just leave it alone. So then when I do I'll just do this again. get the pre-filled URL, and then put XYZ, email. And you can't just put XXX in all of them because you have to know which one's which. ID, XXX company, and then choose get prefilled link, and then copy the link. And now I'll have, close that. Now I'll have a new link. So I'll go back to my flow and edit that. And then we'll have time, we'll be able to just create another flow that kicks off when the form gets filled out so that we'll have like a full business solution in an hour. All right, so here's what was already in here. Now I have to replace this whole hyperlink. Now I'm just going to re-paste in the entire thing and just refill in the dynamic data since it changed. So I'll just pick the email address again. Here's that ID. It just kind of put it in between the other two. And I'm just going to use that list item. Everything in SharePoint just has an ID column by default. Everything will automatically have an auto ID, so I'll just use that. And then company. All right, and then save that. And then I'll go double check and make sure it didn't lose my settings. Yeah, there's the ID. Okay, cool. All right, so then someone fills out the form. They get the link. It has the ID in it. So then with the ID, I'm not going to fill out another one because it's going to look almost exactly the same. Well, I'll just show you what it looks like with that URL. So so that's the URL they would click on, except it would have the dynamic data in it. So let's go ahead and just do another flow. So I'll just say new flow, and I'll base it off of the form being filled in. So forms, a new response is submitted, and I have to fix my connection here. Oh, it's one of those connections that had broken. Let me just go back and fix my connections. There we go. Okay, and go back, create a new flow, do that again. Forms, new response, and it's, oh, there, fixed it, okay. And it's my new customer form. So when the new customer form gets filled in, this flow will trigger. So notice that I'm not using the same flow. The other flow gets triggered when the new customer gets created in the customer contact list. And then who knows how long it's going to take them to fill out the form. And then once they do fill out the form, it's going to trigger this other flow. I hate to have flows like running and waiting or anything like that. And again, the only way to trigger when a new response is submitted is to use this trigger anyway. So when a new response is submitted, then I need to go get the response details. It's just one of those extra things you have to do with Microsoft Forms and Flow, and use the response ID from this trigger. And then here's where we're going to go to the SharePoint. Oops, if I can spell. SharePoint item. So I'll go create an item. So this is going to create an item in that customer list. This is similar to our actual real business process when we have new customers too. And then after this, Joelle had an idea for events, for event registration. So we'll do one of those too and have a pre-filled form for an event. All right, so it's going to create an item in the customer list. And then I really just want the title. I just have really one field, and it's going to be the title of, it's going to be the name of the company. So we'll go create, I'll just call it create customer. And then it will go, so it's going to have the ID. So what I want it to do is to do a SharePoint get item. actually, I don't know if I need to get the item. I really just need to do an update item. Yeah, because I have the ID of the item I need to update because that will be in the form. So I'll just do an update item and then I'll be able to update the customer contact. So power hour, customer contacts. And then since I've asked for the ID, and this is what Annette was getting at with having the ID in the form, since I've asked for the ID, then I'll just say, it's not going to be the ID of when I created the customer. It's going to be the ID of from the response itself. So the thing about this field right here is that it is looking for a number, and all of these come in as a string. So what I need to do is do a integer function to convert that. So here's my dynamic data, and I've got my response details, my customer ID. Now I can see it, but it considers it a string. So since this ID field needs it to be a number, and it's only showing me dynamic data that's a number, then that's why I'm using this integer, and then it's got, there's the big ugly name of that field inside of the form. So now it'll be able to get the right ID. And now I'll be able to fill in the fields. So I've already got their name. I've already got their email. If my form had, what is your phone number, I could have it fill in the phone number. So what I really want to do is I want to fill in this customer lookup ID with dynamic data, because now that I've created the customer in the customer list right here, now I actually can fill in that lookup field. So now everything, you'll have that relational data. You'll have everything tied together. But again, what you can do is, I just didn't want to waste a bunch of time doing this, is you can have a bunch of fields in your Microsoft form and have them match up with fields in, like in this customer contact, and then fill them in with all the data from what the person filled in the form. Hopefully that makes sense. So if we added like a phone number field in the Microsoft form, it would be listed here, and we would put that in business phone. Job title, I think I had that. Did I have that in the Microsoft form? Maybe not. I don't know. I didn't put that many things in there. Okay, so now it's updating the customer contact. And let's go, we can try that one out. I'll give it a better name. Let's see, customer fills out form. Okay. Okay, that's saved. And then we've got, here's that customer contact list. And I'll just go ahead and create another one with that same email address in it. Tester2 email. And I don't know anything else about them except the company, which is going to be Adventure or Us. I don't know. All right, now we just have to wait for the flow to kick off, and that's going to be that other flow. That's going to be the new customer form flow, and then I'll be able to hear it when I hear my mail arrive. That will be where the magic happens, when I fill it out, and then it fills everything else out. Let's see, what do we have going on over here? You don't like the new flow designer? Just another little quick note of just something that I always do when I'm using lists. If you don't need to have attachments, like you notice when I was just filling out that new customer contact form, it had an attachments. If you don't want to have to ask for attachments in any list form, you can just go in here and disable them. Because to me, that is just another thing that can confuse end users if they're presented with a form that has an attachments box at the bottom. It makes them think they're supposed to have an attachment, and attachments are just turned on by default. So you can just disable attachments if you want to. It's just a little random tip. and if you don't need to have attachments for whatever your list is. So therefore, when someone fills out a new form, notice it doesn't have attachments anymore. All right, still waiting for the flow to trigger. That's the fun thing about live demos. Any questions while we're waiting? Oh, there it goes. Okay, welcome to IW Mentor. Click out the form, and I'm going to right click. I'm going to save the link address and open it in a completely different browser. And so I can see that that's filled out. It's got my customer ID of 2, got my company name, and then I can fill in a couple of other things and submit it. And then that's going to trigger the other flow. And I don't know if that one's going to be any faster than the first one. Customer fills out form. Oh, yeah, it already went. Cool. So let's go see in SharePoint what it did. Oh, yeah, look. Okay, so it created the customer, Adventures R Us, and then it also found tester 2, ID number 2, and updated the customer lookup to be now connected to the lookup field to the customer. So this is a text field and this is a lookup field. And so you can see, if you want to see like what the ID is at any point, you can look and just have that displayed. So you'll know kind of what I'm talking about with that unique ID that it's matching up to. All right, now we'll do events, right, Joelle? Is that a good time to move on? Y'all let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so where's that event list? Oh, event registration. Okay, so wait, there's a list that's got, there's a template that has better, is that what you're talking about, Joelle, the template?
No, I just the event registration list made me think that events could be an option.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, that may be.
When you said event registration, I was thinking like that we already had a list in there with a bunch of fields.
Well, there is a list. Does it not have any fields?
There's a list. It just doesn't have, it has like 2 things in it. What is event lookup? Hold on. Apparently there's another list in here. Go to that one. Company events. Oh, there we go. Okay. What did I use that for? It's got a whole bunch of stuff in it. Okay, let's just use this one. There it is, right there above event registration. Okay, so that's the list of what the events are. Oh, and then event registration. So I guess, let's see, I'm trying to think of the creative way that we could do this. First of all, we need to create a form. And the form is going to have like what the name of the event that they're registering for, maybe the ID of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Go back to forms, and like I saw that list that I created. I was like, oh, wah wah, hardly has anything in it. You never know with these demo lists. So people internal and external could be registering for events here. And I'll just say full name. I'm looking for, it's got like competitions. That's funny. Corporate, I'll call it corporate event registration. So maybe when it prompts me with recommended things, it will, I'll just say date. Questions. And we really need to have the name of the event. So I'll add that, like event name. And have that be first. All right, so event name, full name, email, preferred date. And then that's, what do you think? Anything else specific you think we need for this idea?
Not for, no, I don't think so.
Style. Oh, look at that. That is fancy. Okay. I'll say anyone can respond. And then that is, whew. No, I can't handle that. It's too much. All these have like animation in them. Ugh. Okay, there's a good one. Okay. corporate event registration, and then we just go to prefilled URL, and this is where we put enable prefilled answers, and then the name of the event. And if it's an internal form, if you have like only internal people can fill it out, then it would already know who their name, what their name is. So, but it's for external people that you really probably need to, like if you have their email address, go ahead and pre-fill that. But we'll just do the event name here to be pre-filled. And then don't forget to get the pre-filled link at the bottom. So every time you add what some pre-filled answers need to be, you need to get, you'll have a new link because it'll have new information in it. So this link is going to have, it just says XXX event. That's where it's going to, we're going to put that dynamic data. So what we could do is, so the example we gave before with the customers was in a flow, was having the dynamic data be in a flow. But what we could do is have a SharePoint site, and maybe this site where it has the events and the registration is something that maybe only the event team has access to. Like the regular users aren't going to like this whole list that has everything, has everybody's data, has all the list of registrations. They don't even, just pretend they don't even have access to that. So you can have a completely different SharePoint site. Just we'll just go to like our HR site over here. We have a completely different SharePoint site. And so we can create, let's see if I already have any quick links. So I'll just add a quick links web part. You know, I'm just making this up as I go. So it's very on the fly, quick links. And then this is going to be, oops, I didn't click that. From a link. So then each link can be for a specific event if you want. So now, of course, the form can just have a multiple choice. So this is just kind of showing you an idea of ways that you can have this link pre-filled that's slightly dynamic, just ideas with what you can do with it. So here I'm going to say, let's see, what was the name of one of the events? Let me go look real quick. Annual Company Awards Dinner. All right. Go back to here. That. And then you can have a cute little, like, I just picked a random icon. You have a cute little icon and awards dinner, like that. So then when they click that link, let's go try it out. So let me just go ahead and add one more. I do from a link and then paste it in here. And another event that we have is called HR New Employee Orientation. So go back over here. And just type it in. Okay, and then fix my little icon orientation. Okay, publish. So people don't even have access to. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say for the event, like the people that are managing the events, you could build like a really simple flow that's like has a button, you know, like right in the list where they could like generate the link. And it just would like put that link into like a column.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like it basically would just take, you know what I'm trying to say? You would just like in the flow, you would just hard code the link and then the dynamic data of the title, and then like have that like then create a link in that list. So like that way they're not having to like remember what the URL is and all that kind of stuff. It's just automatically, then they could copy it and then put it in their quick links or something like that.
Yeah, you could even use JSON to have one of those little, like, is that what you meant?
Like a button.
Like a little pretty button with JSON.
Yeah, like generate.
I might even have time to try that.
Form link.
Like I said, like this concept we're talking about today literally took like 60 seconds. So we're just having fun, just adding on. So, all right, I'm republishing my site. And so here now an end user would go oh, I want to go to orientation. They click on it. So now the event name is pre-populated. So then they would fill this in and you could have a flow that puts it in, that other list or whatever you want to do with the information. But yeah, and again, if it's an internal form only for your employees on your tenant, it will automatically capture their email address anyway. It will be in there in that data. When the flow kicks off, it's a piece of data that exists in there. All right, so that's the HR new employee orientation link and the awards dinner. See, they just are already filled in. Okay, so then what Joelle was saying was here on the company events to have a column that is a button that uses that URL for that event. So, and maybe we can make it dynamic. Now, I have no idea how to do this. So let's see, I'll just add a text column and I'll call it button. So, this is one of those things that we save for the end of Power Hour, right, Joelle, where we're just kind of like ad hoc, try and figure something out that we would not plan ahead of time. So that's what this is right now. So I have no idea what I'm doing.
Hop off.
Yeah.
So feel free to hop off.
Unless you want to experience chaos and confusion, you might want to. Okay, I'll go format this column and go to advanced mode. And then go to learn more. This is what I always do. And then I scroll down to the column formatting JSON reference. I do this every time. I don't know JSON. I'm not a coder. I don't know any of this. So I know there's one in here that lets you create a hyperlink though. Create clickable actions and then turn field values into hyperlinks. So this is, okay, here it is right here. I'll just copy that code and go, let me close that. I got too many tabs open. And go here. And so I'm going to just select this code and paste it in and then try and tweak it. So the TXT content can be literally just like register for register. I don't know, just put the word register. And then the hyperlink is where the magic happens. So that's going to be, now right now it's just pointed to the @current field. So the title is what I want it to have in it. So let's see if that URL is still in my clipboard. Here it is. And that is Windows V, by the way, lets you keep like a running list of stuff in your clipboard. Another random tip of the day. And then I think you use brackets and then a $, and then like title. I think that's the syntax, except it needs to be here. So it needs to be like, instead of XXX event. So this could get really tricky if you have stuff in the middle of the URL that you need to be dynamic. Mine just happened to be at the end. So preview that. Oh yeah, it's not a button. It's its elm type is A. So maybe if I just change it to button. Oh yeah. That's not pretty. It's pretty ugly, but we've done other Power Hours that talk about like more of this concept. So I'll go ahead and save that and try it out. And so I'm on this one that says employee picnic. I click register and nothing happens. Nope, did not do it. I have no idea what I did wrong either. Oh, you know what? I'm going to change it back to A and try it like actually how it, because that was the code that Microsoft gave me. And then I just changed this to button and then expected it to work like a hyperlink, but I think it needs to be an A here. So I'll just click that again. Oh yeah, HR new employee orientation. And then this one is, let me get rid of some of these columns. Hold on, it's just too much.
So while you're doing that, and like I think my point with this, just in case anybody's wondering, like, because I think I'm thinking of an end user who like trying to get them to mess with the URL and put the title in, like they're going to probably screw up the URL.
Oh.
So this way they don't have to know or how to create that
Yeah.
URL. They can just get the URL and then either email it to somebody or put it on a link.
Yeah,
or
right.
whatever, something like
Unfortunately, what I've noticed is that, so they could just right click on it, maybe, and
Yeah.
get, copy link.
Okay.
But if you click on it, see, this is the employee picnic. Notice that it does scrub the words employee picnic, like anything that you put dynamically in the URL and the person pulls up the form, they're not going to be able to just type something else in the query string because it scrubs it all out. So just something to note. I think that's kind of good that people can't just type in there and put something else, but just something to notice that it does. But yeah, if they, this at least gives them the hyperlink to what it would look like to register for stuff. So what are people saying?
They're talking about the button.
What did I miss?
Nothing really.
Let's go back to,
I think it just mentioned that you could probably wrap the anchor tag in a button, like just to get it to be a button. There is definitely a way to get it to be a button. I think it's the formatting's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's Power JSON is kind of like Power Apps and Power Automate, where you just like lose hours of your life just trying to do something that you think is fairly simple. So I'm not going to delve into trying to tweak the JSON right now. Yeah. And actually ChatGPT is really helpful, by the way, if y'all ever need to be able to write JSON for column formatting, view formatting and stuff. Like it can do a lot of cool stuff for you. Okay, what am I? Awesome. Well, yeah, that's let me switch our view back over to our little studio. There we go. Okay. So basically the very first couple of minutes you learned how to get to the pre-filled form setting, how to put your fields in, and then we talked about a couple of different ways to use Microsoft Forms pre-filled, just ideas for what you can do in the real world with this concept. And so we created a flow that has dynamic data that fills in a form. We created some hyperlinks with dynamic data. So hopefully y'all will have fun trying this out. And Copilot can probably write JSON too, Lisa. I've used ChatGPT in the past, but yeah, I should try using Copilot for that. All right. Yeah, thanks everybody for coming. You can always go to iwmentor.com and click schedule at the top to find when the next Power Hour is going to be. It's most Wednesdays at 11 Central. And check out our training courses on SharePoint, Power Apps, Power Automate, Forms, all these products that we talk about in Power Hour. And thanks everybody for coming.